Hey, tucked away in Mark chapter 6 is one of my very favorite Bible stories. I love this. I want to read it to you. It's in verses 35 through 44, and it says this. Late in the afternoon, his disciples came to him, to Jesus, and they said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the nearby farms and villages and buy something to eat." But Jesus said, "You feed them." "With what?" they asked. We have to work for months to even earn enough money to buy food for all these people." "How much bread do you have?" he asked. "Go and find out." They came back and they reported, "We have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish." Then Jesus told the disciples to have the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of 50 or 100. Jesus took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. He looked up towards heaven and he blessed them. Then, breaking the loaves into pieces, he kept giving the bread to the disciples so they could distribute it to the people. He also divided the fish for everyone to share. They all ate as much as they wanted, and afterwards the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftover bread and fish. A total of 5,000 men and their families were fed from those loaves. Okay, I love this story because the people are hungry, the disciples are hungry, they come to Jesus, they expect Jesus to do something about it. Okay, it's obvious. It's so obvious that people are hungry. They've been with him all day. Their stomachs are rumbling. It's obvious. But Jesus is never distracted by the obvious. Jesus isn't distracted by the obvious. He's got this goal. And he turns around and he says to the disciples, "Why don't you give them something to eat?" And they're like, "Well, we've got nothing." And Jesus knows what he's about to do, and I love this part. He knows what he's about to do. He knows a miracle is about to happen, but he wants the disciples to be a part of the miracle. He doesn't want them just to be spectators. So far, up until this point, they've just watched. But now Jesus wants them to participate. He wants them to be a part of it. Even though he's doing all the work and the miracle comes from him, he wants them to have a part. So they go and they get the stuff and they bring it to him. And Jesus takes it, takes the bread, takes the fish, and he blesses it. And then he breaks it so that it's usable, and then he gives it to the disciples so that they can give it to the people, and they can distribute it. It's the same with us. God invites us to be a part of what he's doing. He invites us to be partners in the miraculous. He does all the work, but we get to take part, and it's an incredible thing. And he takes us, and he blesses us, and his blessing is upon us, his favor, his flavor is upon us, and then he breaks us a lot of times so that we're actually usable, and then he gives us. And we in turn give him to the people. We in turn turn around and we get to take part in the miraculous. It's a really cool thing. What an adventure. And we become, check this out, we become like distribution centers for God's awesomeness. That's what we do. That's what we're called to do. It's real simple. He's awesome. We get to distribute his awesomeness to the people around us and show them how incredible he is. He takes us, he blesses us, he breaks us, he gives us. It's incredible to be a participant and not just a spectator. Don't sit on the bench, get into the game. Giddy up.